Hey there, Rivermen fans. I'm Jason Ruff, along with Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel. It's time for another edition of Coffee with Coach, presented by CXT Roasting.
Just what I needed today.
Just what you needed today.
Another coffee.
And a good little bit of the Rivermen blend, or Rivermen style from CXT Roasting.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been quite a few weeks, especially this last weekend against the Quad City Storm. A bit of a tough struggle the first couple of games, but then the Rivermen come back and get it done on Sunday. What stood out to you about that weekend, and what do you think was the message or the key lesson to take away from that weekend?
That we're not ready for the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing that we saw. I thought Quad City played extremely well. Discipline in the neutral zone. Tough to get through. They were standing 4 or 5 guys in neutral zone all the time, and then we know what they do. They stretch pretty early before they get the puck, and unfortunately our young D that we have right now just couldn't quite grasp that, and then they won the special team battles also. So all in all, not a great weekend for us, but again, a lot of growth, meaning we know how many guys we're missing. We know who's going to be there at the end, and we just got to keep building. And it was great that Quad City's playing playoff hockey. Yeah. And I hope Knoxville does the same thing this weekend because those teams are battling for a spot in the playoff, and we have to raise our intensity because when you're in first place or top of the league, you kind of sometimes these are the dog days like we talked about.
Take your foot off.
Yeah, take a little bit off, and then. But kudos to Quad City. I thought they outworked us in every situation, and that's why they won 2 out of 3.
The other thing that really stood out to me, more so on Sunday's game than the entire weekend, but the fact that you had a couple of key players like emerge as guys who want to be heroes, guys like a Garrett Devine or a Michael McChesney, like especially Sunday's game, like they really stepped up, I thought.
Yeah, we have about 4 or 5 of those in the lineup right now. Guys have been here most of the year and they know what we do, so it's easier for them also to grasp on our structure. I mean, a lot of new guys didn't really have time to practice, and all we do is we try to do video to show them as much as we can, but it makes it hard for those young guys coming in, especially playing against our rival, a team that's desperate for the playoff, a team that I think they played phenomenal hockey this weekend, and for us it's about just raising our level now, understanding that a lot of teams we're going to be playing are fighting for their life right now, so we have to raise it. I thought last year it took us a full game of the playoffs to kind of get our intensity up, so we can't have that this year. I don't think we're as deep as we were last year with all our call-ups, so we have to make sure we're ready and structured right off the bat.
When you look at a player like Garrett Devine, how has he grown into the role of being able to be one of those key guys, like when the chips are down, he's going to come up and make a big play that sets up a game-winning goal?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Garrett is he just wants a puck. He wants to be a hockey player. I mean, you could see his background, with his dad. I think he learned a lot from him, and you can see nothing bothers him. He's got zero fear, and when I say zero fear, people kind of misunderstanding sometimes. He doesn't care to take a hit to make a play. I mean, he's going to be in the dirty areas. He doesn't. Nothing bothers him. He just wants to play hockey. He wants to be out there every single shift. He's never tired. That's what great players are also. He wants to be, he comes off, he wants to be right back on. So those are the type of players, him, McChesney, those type of players, you don't have enough of them. I mean, we're trying to build 9 forwards that way and 6 Ds. And like I said, we were getting there, but the call-ups and the injuries kind of set us back a little bit, which has been that kind of year. And you just got to do what's best. And for us, it was trying to find more diamonds in the rough with all those the adversity that we face with the injuries and call-ups. Is you're trying to find more diamonds in the rough, more guys like Garrett Devine, like the McChesneys, like the Fox, these guys that just don't ever go, and they're real hockey players. They're real. I mean, they know how to play the game, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win.
When you look at right now in the season, only 10 games left to go before the playoffs. This is when a lot of those college guys start to come down and filter to the pro levels, whether it be the ECHL, the SPHL. What's the process for Coach you and Coach Levine for identifying which college guys, okay, here are guys that we like, here are guys we can get, and how do you convince them to come down here and be a Riverman?
Yeah, it's a process. You start at the beginning of the year, but it's always hard because, you have the ECHL, you have our league, and in Peoria we know what we can give those players, and other teams know what they can give, and you try to sell them on your program, the guys that you like, and you're hopeful. You hope to get those diamonds in the rough, because like I said, you see Quad City just by adding 4 or 5 college guys, they completely change their team around. So, and that's what we're trying to look for too. We're trying to bring in guys and find, like, that's why you're seeing a lot of transaction. We want we want to let go of the guys that we don't foresee being on the playoff roster, and try to find guys coming in that are going to be diamonds. You know, when the Alec Bear and the Fornaris and the Gillette and all those guys come back, that they're going to complement those guys and bring enough smart and intensity to make sure we have success in the playoffs.
How much of an added boon is it to have Colby Muse back here in the lineup and back between the pipes for the squad?
Well, I think that's the only reason. So you're trying to get, you know, when you have a weekend like last weekend where guys are just slow and not going, you're trying to get anything to kind of boost the guys up. And I think Muser coming in, he drove all day, and that's the kind of teammate he is. I can't say enough, and I had great feedback from Adirondack too on not only the goalie he is, they were really happy actually, and you know he always talks about his stats. His stats weren't great there, but we saw him play, and you know they were giving 20 grade A chances a game, and I thought he did phenomenal, and they couldn't talk enough about him as a goalie and a teammate, and that's what he is. He came back, I think he drove like 18 hours, but wanted to play that game to kind of, he saw the team was struggling a bit, and you know, if it wasn't for him, we're not winning that game.
No, absolutely not.
So, I mean, it was a big boost for the guys, and once we got going a little bit that game, I thought the second and third was a lot better after all the penalties in the first. I thought we started skating a little bit better, but sometimes you just need one of those guys, you know, and hopefully this weekend we get Mike Gillette back. And, you know, next weekend is going to be Bearsy, and hopefully we have Barker and we have Latino. So we have a lot of guys, Marty, and, you know, we have a lot of guys that, you know, when they come back, just that energy, that 20 minutes that they provide for the hockey team is really, really big. You know what I mean? Because right now, it seems like on every line you have to bring a young guy, and it's not, like I said, it's not the young player's fault, but he just doesn't know the structure.
Right.
And, you know, I always say if one guy doesn't do his job, you're like on a PK all the time. You know what I mean? So you're always chasing the game. And lately we've been chasing, but we're gonna fix it with all the new guys coming in.
Absolutely. Now, when you look back at how this year has gone with all the call-ups, all the roster moves, with all the injuries, how hard is it this year to just start to assemble that playoff roster with having to account for so many different variables, you think?
It's challenging. It's a fun challenge, but it's challenging because, you know, you watch so much video and you see the mistakes that are done by guys that normally wouldn't be here, but you have to try to teach and put them on the same page as everybody else, even though you could see it's a struggle. But there's nobody else that called up. You know what I mean? Before the college players became available, you know what I mean? The Federal League, I always say we try to call up a few guys that are really good in the Federal League, but they want to stay there. They make they make enough money to stay there, and they're happy there. So, you know, then you're kind of slim pickings over there. So you're kind of stuck at our level to, you know, just try to teach who you have and then make him better every single day. So it's been tough, but it's a process. It's a fun process, and I'm lucky to have Eric with me this year to kind of appease that, because he took a lot of pressure off my shoulders to helping a lot of guys that sometimes because there's only so many hours in a day. So it's been nice having Eric helping with those young guys.
I want to circle back to something you had earlier mentioned. When Muse came back in, it seemed like there was just a jolt in that Rivermen locker room. How much of that is just shows the impact of mentality entering a game, whether it be entering a game or entering a shift? Having that mentality is like, all right, we're going to go out, we're going to dominate, we're going to be a better team than the other guys. How much of that helps in terms of getting a team ready to go?
It's everything. Yeah, mental. It's, you know, they say it's 90% of the game. I think it's more, because once you get at this time of the year, everybody's in good physical condition. You'll have bumps and bruises, but everybody's in shape. So then the mental part is everything. Is, are you ready for that game? Every game now is going to be a battle. Are you ready to pay the price? Are you ready to do whatever it takes? And when you add some players that are really familiar with what we do, but also brings the joy of being on the ice every single day. Because, you know, for a while we only had Wilkes that's pretty loud in those guys, and then you add, you know, your Muser that's so confident and so happy to be here, and you, I mean, you keep building, and then, you know, this week I think Gillette, and then next week you had 3-4 more guys that are can't wait to get on the ice with the guys, and then all of a sudden you're playing 5 against 5, you know, and everybody's in their spot, so the rotations and everything, the hockey looks a lot better.
It's been over a month since the Rivermen have won a game on the road in regulation time. You're going to start a stretch where you're going to have 5 straight on the road. What do you want to see differently on the next couple of weeks on the road as opposed to what we saw in the last month or so away from Carver Arena?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's different situations that arises. I think I told you when we gave the guys 6-day break, we went right into a game. We lost that one. I think we lost a little bit of that swagger in that game just because we hadn't practiced, and then, you know, we had that streak, you know, but people all knew that we were like 16, 17 games in a row without a loss. then you kind of lose that feeling of wanting to prove on the road to everybody that you can continue that streak. So it goes down a bit. I think this weekend it was more just we ran out of juice, plus a lot of new guys kind of made it that you had to protect a lot of players in the lineup. So it makes it hard because, like I said, it's, you know, you have two guys that know what you're doing, one guy that has no idea, and he's trying his best, but it's hard. So I think there's, you know, I always look at your schedule, and I mean, I always say, like, I remember looking at Knoxville when they lost 12 in a row, but they had played us 4, Huntsville 3, and then Roanoke 4. I mean, that's pretty hard schedule, so you can understand the team. So that has a lot to do with, you know, the wins and losses. But for us, it's just getting back to how we play at home, the same thing. And I thought the first 8 minutes here on Sunday was great. So that was a first start. Then we got penalties, of course, the rest of the period. But I thought we started well again, and we just got to do the same thing on the road.
Despite all the challenges, what excites you the most about this time of year? Starting to get warm. It's at least warm weather out today here in Peoria. Only 10 games left to go before the playoffs. What excites you the most about this time of year, this time of the regular season?
Well, now with my youth hockey being over, I focus completely. So that means, like, I could watch 7, 8, 9 hours of video a day and dial everybody in. It excites me to see young players coming in college and trying to see if they can make that playoff roster. And then also, like, guys you could see this. I call it playoff weather. The sun is out. I won't put my guns out, but like, no, just kidding. But like, you can see the excitement. The guys are starting. We have a lot of guys here that won championships. So for them, this is when, they start revving up the engines. And you'll see, I think, the last 4 games of the year this year, we're going to be a very different group because they're going to feel like the playoffs are coming and they get excited for that.
You're not going to mention the Knoxville Crepes?
No, the Crepes are going to be good in Knoxville, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get on the road 5 straight with the team. I think we need it. We're getting 2 players coming in tomorrow. So, I mean, we've got a lot of new faces. That's going to be good for us to be on the road, and hopefully we can do a few things as a team to make sure we get everybody closer.
Yep, the Peoria Rivermen taking on the Knoxville Ice Bears this Friday and Saturday in Knoxville, 6:05 p.m. Central Time both nights. Last regular season meeting between the two. But the big news coming on a little bit later on in the month, March 28th, $5 ticket night for Upper Bowl and select Lower Bowl tickets. Should be a fantastic evening. Help us all cram Carver Arena to see the Peoria Rivermen take on the Pensacola Ice Flyers. Should be a great game. Youth hockey night as well. A lot of Peoria Mustangs, Peoria Youth Hockey coming on. That's also the night that we're going to be honoring this man right here for being the winningest coach in SPHL history. I know that happened back in like November, December. It was a while ago.
Yeah, like I said, those records are what they are. But I'm excited about that night. I won't lie. I'm excited to have a big crowd, but I'm excited with my PYHA. I mean, we had so much success this year. It was a lot of fun, and I was lucky to work with great families and our organization. But also the players really bought in into playing the right way. And now that they had results, hopefully we can keep going and building that program. Because you know me, I love the game of hockey, and I love when young players you can mold them, the leadership and the way they play, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that night.
Taking the playoffs away, because we don't know what's about to happen in the playoffs. But looking at just the regular season, when you've been maybe a little more gray hair on the beard, when you're sitting in your cabin up in Canada thinking back on this year, what's going to be the biggest takeaway or the biggest thing that stands out to you?
I honestly, every year, but this year I think the leadership had a lot to do with it, with all the injuries and the call-ups, and it was a challenging year, but a lot of our leaders kind of kept, the team afloat. And I mean, we're in first place. It seems like we're, you're always, as a coach, you're never happy, but you understand that without those guys, without, Ernst, Wilkie, Bearsy, Jimmer coming back now and playing great hockey, I think our leaders really kind of came together, and then we found some young players, Muse was his first year, a lot of players that were really excited, and but I'm so lucky, like I said, the Gillatts, and I'm forgetting a lot of them, but Barker, and we have so many great leaders that it's fun to be here, it's fun to coach, and they always bring excitement to come to the rink every single day. So for me, I'm a very fortunate man, but this year is going to be the adversity we face and the way the leadership group kept this team going.
Well, 10 games left to go in the regular season before playoffs. The final sprint is here. Ready to get after it, Geek?
Yes. Cheers, buddy.
For another edition of Coffee with Coach, I'm Jason Ruff. He's Jean-Guy Trudel. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you all in the next episode.